I'm showing 6 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and call our meeting to order tonight. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda? Hearing none, we'd entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
So moved.
Motion support, last chance for comments or questions. Hearing none, all those in favor of a yes?
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried. Roll is taken. Is that correct? Yes. Okay, we have roll. Next up is Pledge of Allegiance. Please rise and join us in the pledge. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you very much. Next, we'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of the July 26, 2022 regular session. Everybody?
Support.
Motion support. Any comments, questions, corrections, additions, or deletions? Hearing none, all those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried. First up, we have communication. Receipt of a communication from Jen Zielinski with follow-up comments to the Gratiot County Substance Abuse Coalition's presentation. Your pleasure.
Move to receive.
Support.
Motion support. Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all those be yes.
Yes.
Those opposed be no. Motion is carried. Moving on to hearings. First up, we need to hold a public hearing for the purpose of determining whether the following described premises shall be designated and established as a commercial rehabilitation district under PA 210 of 2005 in the location of 111 West Superior, which is also known as parcel number 29-51-031-038-15. Your pleasure. I guess, yeah. Open the hearing, I guess, yes.
Open the hearing.
Support.
We have motion support. Last comments. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed would be no. Motion is carried. We've opened the hearing. You,
Yep,
Amy?
I'll give a little background on it, and Ryan Smith, the owner, is here too, if you have questions for him. The request is for 111 West Superior Street, that is currently where Valley Books is at, and the other space where Treasures was located. That address used to be 113 West Superior Street. This request is just for the ground floor only. There'll be, Valley Books is looking to expand the coffee into the bookstore, and expand the bookstore, seating and all that, there, a small kitchen, that sort of thing. The square footage we're looking at on that ground floor is 3,212 square feet. The estimated cost of the project at this moment is $163,000. Previously, the 4 upper story apartments, there's an over on those 4 apartments in the upper story. This would just be a commercial rehabilitation district on the ground floor.
Okay. What is the first question? Nothing? Okay. We've done it before, so I guess that.
If the next thing I would add then is in set in our public hearing and look at the full application to be approved and then submitted to the state commission.
Was hearing recorded public comment?
Yes.
If there are. So are there any members of the public who would like to comment? Mr. Smith, do you have anything to add?
No, you guys are familiar with what we do.
That is correct. Is there any members of the public who would like to comment? Last chance. Okay, hearing none. Entertain a motion to close the hearing.
Move to close the hearing.
Support.
Motion support. Last chance. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. We close the hearing. Okay, thank you. Item number 2, set a public hearing for Tuesday, August 23rd, 2022 at 6 p.m. or as soon thereafter as the agenda allows to consider a request from Win Telephone Company doing business as Win Telecom for a Metro Act permit under Metro Act provisions. Your pleasure to set the hearing.
Move to set the hearing.
Support.
Motion support. Any comments or questions?
Just, this is coming up on their expiration of their current permit, and each one requires a new public hearing.
Next chance for questions. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed to be no? Motion is passed, we set a hearing. Moving down to D, consent agenda. We have one item, which is a request for payment in the amount of $12,144 to Core Technology Corporation for the annual software support and maintenance service for the Alma Police Department.
Move to approve.
Support.
And motion support. Any background from
Oh,
staff? or-
this is our annual, this is the software technology that keeps everything talking between their vehicles and our servers and things here.
Fair enough. Last chance for comments or questions. Okay, all those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed to be no? Motion is carried and we've approved. Moving on to resolutions. First up, we are to consider a resolution authorizing the establishment of a commercial rehabilitation district for the property located at 111 West Superior Street, also known as parcel number 29-51-031-038-15. Your pleasure.
Move to adopt.
Support.
Motion support. Anything change?
Oh, nothing has changed.
Okay.
Same district.
Any comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor would be yes.
Yes.
Any opposed is no. The motion is carried, and we have established a district.
Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Smith.
Bye.
Good luck on your project.
Bye-bye.
Item number 2, consideration of an amendment to resolution 22-0084, MDOT MDOT's annual performance resolution amending the 2022 banners and street closures table to include a closure for September 10th, 2021 for the Alma Live celebration. It should be 2022.
Yes, I'm sorry, that was a mistake.
And I read it just as you presented it, so it's my mistake as well. Okay. Hopefully that's clear. Okay. We have a motion and support. Comments or questions?
We wanted to make sure that we were doing this event this year before we put it on the agenda, and this is a requirement from MDOT to close it down for the day, so. We'll be working with Lucky McDuck there in the morning and we're in the afternoon.
Okay.
Exciting.
Anything else from anybody? All those in favor of the yes?
Yes.
Any opposed is no? Motion is carried. The ordinances. We are to consider a resolution for the introduction of ordinance number 829 to amend section 60-60 J2F to allow residential uses in the B1 Central Business District as permitted use, provided certain conditions are met. Your pleasure.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion and support.
This you probably recognize, we did this a few months ago, for ground floor residential under specific, circumstances or conditions met, as a special use. Working with the MEDC on our redevelopment ready communities checklist. This is something they told us, well, we need to make this a permitted use. So everything stays the same, instead of being a special use, it will, this board act, this is approved, this is the introduction, it would be a permitted use by right, it would just come through our normal building and zoning department to be approved as opposed to going to the planning commission.
Yeah, two, same conditions have to be met,
Conditions.
so there really isn't any change, it's a permitted use, not a special.
Any more comments or questions? Okay, all those in favor of the yes?
Yes.
Any opposed would be no. Motion is carried, and we have approved the introduction. Moving down to agreements. We're to consider a resolution to approve a letter of agreement, amendment to the current POAM, which is the Police Officers Association of Michigan. Okay, sorry, I drew a blank there. The POAM collective bargaining agreement, adding a subsection regarding stipend checks, also to authorize the chair to sign the agreement on behalf of the city. Your pleasure.
Move to approve.
Support.
Motion of support.
This section of the collective bargaining agreement is a new section, and when we were putting up the checks this year, there was some back and forth about how that should be done. So this section here outlines it, single check, and how it's supposed to be taxed. And all parties involved, as we discussed it, it's like, it probably makes sense to add a letter of agreement approved by this board, so when we go into negotiations the next time, that all that stuff is already worked out.
Okay. Comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor of the yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Any opposed to be no? Motion is carried. Now, moving to reports of officers, boards, and committees. Commissioners may receive the following reports by one resolution, or any commissioner may remove any item from within section for an individual discussion and vote. We have lots of reports tonight. The Rural Urban Fire Board, the minutes of the Board of Review from July 19th, the Zoning Board of Appeals from July 25th, the Parks Committee, July 25, draft minutes, the Downtown Development Authority, July 27, draft minutes, Alma Police Department, July 22 report, July 22 building permits report, Planning Commission, August 1, 22 draft minutes, and the City Manager's report. Hey, your pleasure.
Move to receive 1 through 8.
Motion support. Anybody else? Hearing none. All those in favor of the yes?
Yes.
Any opposed, no? Okay, we received 8 out of 9. Now, we'll entertain a motion for number 9.
Move to receive
There we
the
go.
city manager's report.
Okay, motion support. You wanna
Yes,
do your-
yep, I'll go through a few things here. Just a reminder to all the folks at home, that, our town hall meetings to discuss the neighborhood street, millage. We have 3 dates set for that, at the Alma Public Library, August 25th, 6 to 8 p.m., September 29th, from 6 to 8 p.m., and November 3rd, from 6 to 8 p.m. Each one of those, meetings would be the same, so it isn't like you have to come all 3, to know what's going on. It'd be all the same information, but, please do, come to one of those. And if there is a service group or another group out in your community that would like to have a presentation come to their club to talk about it, we can do that. Election, I just wanted to give a real quick, just something very brief. The Alma turnout, it was a little small. It's a primary time, so we had a turnout of 21% within the city. 1,302 voters out of our 6,187 registered voters casted votes. All 3 of our ballot proposals, the millages, did pass. The senior citizen services millage did get renewed. The Gratiot County Agricultural and Economic Development millage was renewed, and the library millage renewal did pass also. Along with election news, our first meeting in November for the City Commission falls on election day. So on our agenda tonight, staff would like to move that day, or that meeting, to either the Wednesday following, which is November 9th, or the Thursday following, which is November the 10th, whichever the commission feels that they'd like to meet, that'd be fine, and whatever you use your preference, but yeah, being election night, it'd make it a little tough, so. Ordinance amendments, we discussed in our last meeting. We have 2 amendments and 1 new ordinance that we're proposing. One is update, amend the fireworks ordinance to match the state of Michigan, the off-road vehicle, or ORV, ordinance to match the state of Michigan. And currently, our golf carts kind of fall under the ORV. The state of Michigan now has a separate statute for golf carts, so we're proposing to create a local ordinance for golf carts and follow those statutes. What's in your package tonight is the most up-to-date language. Staff, administrative, and at the police department are comfortable with the language that we currently have in those, so we're just looking to see if there's any other comments that the commission may have, and if we're all set, we'll get a public hearing in September to the public thing to say.
Comments or questions?
Then I'll jump right into, we've talked a lot of meetings here lately about marijuana. I did provide in 2 ordinances, in your packets, one from the Village of Edmore and one from the City of Clare. Also, included is the City of Clare's, draft on how they went through and basically modified their medical marijuana ordinance to become their recreation ordinance. So that's how they created theirs, so I thought that was an interesting piece of information to provide for the commission. And then also also on our agenda tonight is that the commission would like staff to move forward with creating a draft, either with the city manager working with the attorney and other staff members, or creating a subcommittee like we did with the medical marijuana ordinance. Go that route also. And just some information to keep everyone up to date on the lead and copper. We are now done with 37% of the exterior portion of the project and 35% of the interior inspection portion of that project. The sidewalk replacement program is out for bid right now, and we'll have bids in August 11th, so those will be back for you for our next commission meeting. And just wanted to, Public Works wanted to let you know that we did, under one of our routine inspections through the manholes, we did find a clay line, sewer line that was failing on Washington Avenue. So we're in the process of working through what we can do to make that, keep that working without having to excavate the whole road up and that sort of things. But it was a clay pipe that just stopped working, and it just came out. We found pieces of it within the manhole. So there's a lot of clay around there anyway, around the surface of that clay. It's a clay subsurface, so it holds its shape pretty well. It continues to work. Also, yeah, it's crazy. It's the old sewer line. Also in Public Works, we did meet with Andrew Palmerville from Allen College. This will be the third year of our incoming freshmen at Allen College. We'll be doing a morning of volunteerism. We're looking close to probably 250 students, give or take. We met with them to discuss some possible projects and tasks to do in that 2-hour period on August 28th. They'll also be working with other community organizations throughout the city that day too. So looking forward to working with them then. A couple big projects that we'd like to get done. One is the entry ramps into our pedestrian bridge at State Street Dam. They need to be stained, and it'd be great if we had 30, 40 kids to do that. But we can't have rain before or after within a day. So hopefully that all works out that time. And then lastly, I just wanted to thank Muriel Fabricators. You might have noticed the downtown trash receptacles went out today. We were hoping to put them out earlier, but when we started really looking at them, they were pretty light. We didn't want to blow them away or someone just picking up and moving them. And also we didn't want to attach them into the sidewalk itself because we'd like to be able to move them around if we find a different place that can make more need, we can move them around. And then also when we're doing snow removal, a lot of the damage comes from those, when we're pushing snow on the sidewalk, necessarily not hitting the receptacle, but just when you push a mound of snow, it dents things. So in this case, we're hoping that if it gets pushed into it, it kind of moves out of the way. So I'd like to thank Meryl for that. The quotes we got for the material that they provided for us was around $4,000. So we'll be able to put that into a different project downtown. Big thanks to them. That's it.
Okay. Where's the question?
Just comment on the trash can, very nice downtown. Today.
Good to have
Looking for
them.
them when I drive home. It's like, did you see the trash cans? I'm like, oh, I can't wait.
The color matches our flower pots, so.
Yeah, these are the things I'm into these days, yes. Right, I know, it's sad.
You're on the sidewalk. Yeah.
Well, I didn't say it, but
Your vocation
much
again?
less traffic.
Okay, well, thank you, Eric, I appreciate that. Okay. So I believe we had a motion on the table to receive his report. All those in favor be yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion's carried. We received your report. Thank you. Unfinished business. Consideration of a resolution to approve the establishment of a utilities coordinator position, which will be under the supervision of the Public Services Director, and approve the related job description. Also to authorize the city manager and human resources to begin the process of filling the position. Your pleasure.
Move.
Support.
Okay, comments or?
Yep, just I'll give a quick brief on it. Like we discussed at our last meeting, We were removing the Assistant Public Services Director position, and this position is not necessarily a replacement, but being put in there to help with the things that are needed in the different divisions, water, sewer, our engineering department with the updating with the GIS system, and also part of this is to help me with our internal internet IT things that we need to do around City Hall and the other divisions. It would have been very helpful to have when we're going through some of the phone things here just recently. So that's also part of this position. So if it's approved tonight, we will be removing the Assistant Public Works position, and then I'll be working with the HR manager to hire the position.
Good. First questions? A couple things came to mind for me. This is a grade lower than what the assistant was before.
It's 3 grades. It's grade 6, the other one was grade 9.
And just in reading that job description, it talked about working towards certifications to run the water and sewer plant.
To get their certifications.
Certifications,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Is there a timeline that's
Yes,
expected to be
yes,
completed?
we'll have timelines on.
Do we know what it is? What you're anticipating?
Well, each one takes lab time, and then you gotta have enough lab time to be able to take the test. Each one of those divisions, say wastewater, you need, this is just off, don't hold me to it, but say you need 30 hours worth of lab time at the wastewater treatment plant to take your it's APC D, certification D, which is the very first one that you take. Water, the same kind of thing, you need X number of hours in the lab before you're allowed to take your F1, F4. And then your S, which is distribution, same kind of thing, you have to be working the plant X number of hours to be able to take the test for that. So, just as a side note, I've been kind of looking around at some other communities, and Mount Pleasant right now, they're trying to fill positions for their water treatment superintendent. Right now, they know how tough it is to find people that are qualified or even have it, but they've offered someone if they aren't certified as an F1, to give them time to come in and become an F1. So that's how kind of desperate it is out there right now. So we're hoping that, and we're not just offering it to this position, we do wastewater treatment personnel, our water treatment personnel, and distribution personnel at water are all encouraged to take their certifications.
I mean, previously it was like an 8-year program.
It can take up to that if you're starting from scratch. So you don't have, water is the it's 4 through 1, and F1 is qualification to run our plant. And the reason why we need an F1 is because we do provide water to St. Louis. Now, if we were just providing water to ourselves, we would only need that too. But now that we're an authority and selling water to another community, we do need the F1 certification to have something there to be that signs up on the paperwork and those sort of things. But it does take a long time, but there will be a schedule set up of when people have to.
It seems like there's a lot of areas that this person is expected to fill. I mean, IT, water, sewer. Seems like we might be better off having multiple individuals pursue some of these roles.
We are, and like I
It's
said.
11 eggs in one basket
Yeah,
here.
yeah, and oh yes, I get what you're saying. But each division, like I said, we do encourage each one of the employees to get their survey and keep moving through the certifications.
Okay. Anybody else have questions? Okay. We have a motion on the table. All those in favor be yes?
Yes.
Any opposed will be no? And I'll be a no. Thank you. Next up is consideration of a resolution to consider a resolution to provide direction to staff in relation to creation and development of a recreational adult use marijuana ordinance. Pleasure.
Support.
Yep, this is, we're just, like we discussed, getting going on this, so I, that move forward with that. The only thing I would ask is if, commissions, would rather staff and attorney work on the draft for you, or would you create the subcommittee again to work on the draft? That'd be the only other question I have.
I guess just, I was involved in the Village of Edmond draft too. I represent them. I talked to the village manager, and he's fine with us sharing this, which I think you already done, the Village of Edmond ordinance. And I was involved in the Village of Reclamation ordinance too. And there's, there are a couple of interesting issues that come up as to, do you wanna do it this way or that way, that type of thing. It's not gonna be a situation where I'm gonna have to reinvent the wheel to come up with an ordinance, because I've, got the boilerplate. It's just a matter of adapting it. And there will be a couple of provisions that, that I might have two different options for the commission. So in other words, I guess what I'm saying is, it's not gonna be an inordinate amount of my time to come up with something.
Well, I guess my preference would be just discuss those options as a group rather than a subcommittee, but open suggestions if people feel otherwise.
I was looking through the ordinances and all of that kind of thing today. It's pretty similar to, where we have been in the past. And again, I don't think it's necessary to really reinvent that wheel. I think the thing that we need to consider if we are going to go ahead with this is how we are gonna do the method of selection. That's where the question is.
I think that's where the choices come in that Tony was talking
Right,
about.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it's interesting too, because the adult use statute talks about developing a competitive, basically, you have a list of criteria, and it's gotta be a competitive process to determine which of the the applicants is gonna be the applicant that you're gonna give the license to, or the two applicants, how many licenses you're gonna grant. It's an interesting question, as to how you do that, because there are various, questions that you can ask, various conditions that you can ask they meet, as long as they're consistent with the statute and not contravening the statute. But that's an interesting thing for the city to decide, how you're gonna do that. With the medical marijuana, of course, we had a lottery, and I think it's an open question as to whether Mr. Everett might be able to shed some light on this in public opinion maybe, but this question of, what do you do if you end up with two that are too close to call? How you gonna do that? So that lottery, I think, could still be an option in that situation. But you do, I think, get the chance to kind of direct how you want this to be handled with those qualifications. In other words, which ones are gonna be leaned on the most by the commission when you make that decision. So those are the kind of things you're gonna be looking at, as far as how we handle it, if there's a decision made to go with it.
Some comments or questions? Hearing none, all those in favor be yes?
Yes.
Yes.
Any opposed be no?
No.
No.
Two noes, 4 yeses, the motion is passed. Moving on to new business, consideration of a resolution to reschedule the city commission meeting normally scheduled for the second Tuesday in November, or November 8th, 2022, to an alternate date, such as, as is November 8th, 2022 is election day, that mentioned the city manager in his report, so it's your pleasure to change that date.
I move we change it to November 9th, Wednesday. Support.
Motion support, everybody okay with that?
So far out, I don't think anybody has much of anything. I'm pretty open. So,
I want to get out here early.
Yeah. You do. Okay. All those in favor be yes?
Yes.
Any opposed, no. Motion is carried. Moving to appropriations. Is there any interest in paying the bills?
support.
There motion is support. Are there any comments or questions? Hearing none. Those in favor would be yes.
Yes.
Any opposed, say no. Motion is carried. We've approved the bills. I'm sorry, what?
I was late on my yes.
Oh.
It was still yes.
It was still
right?
yes.
Still yes, okay.
I was late.
Commissioner comments. Roxanne, would you like to go first this evening?
Registering kindergartners. It's a new process, and so if anyone is listening to this, just be patient.
Patience in kindergarten, in the same sentence, I like that, you're optimistic.
Well, their parents are finding it out, so, yeah, Heather, my apologies for this in the last meeting, but, George graduated from Navy Power School, and I was glad to spend some time with him, so thank you for that.
Yeah, quite a milestone.
Thank you.
Your absence was certainly
I'm
excused.
very pleased.
Not a bad excuse.
So, thank you.
Danny,
I know she's not here tonight, but thanks to Sarah for running the election last Tuesday. So the precinct I was at, it was pretty smooth. Obviously, the numbers were a little lower, but everything was pretty efficient, and as well as all the volunteers and those that helped out. So.
Roger.
Yeah, one more week to see the kids in Music Man Junior, and if you haven't, I really, really suggest you do. We have heard time and time again how people are amazed at the amount of talent we have in Gratiot County, the regular Gratiot County player stuff. That certainly filters down to these kids. They are absolutely unbelievable. It's a shortened version of Music Man. It runs about an hour and 15 minutes, I think, as opposed to about 2:15 for the real play. They cut a couple of numbers out that would have been bigger production numbers and require another set change and all that, and have shortened some of the numbers. But it's still all there. The kids are just fantastic. You will be very, very pleased and surprised when you see it. And I suggest it. Friday, Saturday, Sunday this week.
If I don't have tickets, box open is open.
Yes,
Is open
yes,
Thursday?
box office.
You buy them the day of.
Yeah, buy in there. You can buy in there.
Oh, just, okay,
I don't think they're running box office ahead on this one. So.
thank you. Andrew,
I'm all set, thank you.
Michelle,
I saw the play at dress rehearsal, it was excellent. I have no talent compared to the children in our training. The voices and the acting and even the production, the kids do the lighting and the sound and everything, it was great. Thank you to Twin City for our flowers downtown, for keeping them beautiful, and for Sarah planning them out here, right? Sarah planning them, downtown's looking very pretty. And don't forget to go to the farmer's market.
your turn. Anything?
No.
I'm going out with you, don't worry.
I'm good.
Just busy writing, busy writing.
Just a couple things. Danny, I really appreciate that as far as, giving, kudos to Sarah and the volunteers. Voted as well at the church, at Presbyterian Church, everything worked great, and obviously, I think some of that stuff is taken for granted as far as the work that those folks do, and, how much they help out in it real smooth, and that is fantastic. So Sarah and all those volunteers deserve a lot of credit. The other thing is, the Elma High School Athletic Hall of Fame is going to announce its class of 2022 at the all-class reunion, which I guess is the 21st
21st.
of August, Sunday. The one thing I will say is that people really need to get out nominations for deserving Elma High School graduates. There are plenty of deserving people out there that have not been nominated, and I think the people that are in it really see it as an honor, and and I think it really is, and I think to the extent that we can get more deserving Elma High School graduates in the Hall of Fame, that would be great, but we can't do it unless there are nominations from the public. So I just ask the people in the public, if you know somebody that's deserving, put their name in. That's it.
Well, I'd certainly like to echo appreciation to Sarah for running the election, and she does a great job, and it is a lot of work. It's a lot of work that day, and it's a lot of work for her and the team before that day as well. By virtue of this office that I happen to hold, I sit on the election board or whatever, I forget the name of the committee, whatever it is, but we go through the testing process ahead of time, and I can assure everybody that it is a very, very secure process, and Sarah takes the obligation to run a secure and safe election very, very seriously. All the I's are dotted, the T's are crossed. She does a wonderful job and deserves our appreciation for that. So, thank you, Sarah, for that. Again, thank you to Merrill Fabrication. They donated this piece of the steel that we're going to weigh down as trash cans. Very nice gift to the city. We thank our local industry for that. That's great for them to step forward. Certainly helps out the city, and so move forward from there. With that, we'll open the floor to the public. If any members of the public would like to address the commission, please go to the podium, state your name and address, and share your thoughts. I believe you have up to 5 minutes. So who would like to be first? We've got a volunteer. It's a race. If you get there first, you go.
Hurry up.
Yeah, I'd like to address the city commissioner. My name is Tim Gay. I'm running for county commissioner, District 3, and I'm going around to the townships that I'm involved with and the city commission to just listen and try to learn things and just introduce myself. Is there any questions or comments?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. And I guess, I don't know, in honor of equal time, I should mention that Jan Bunting is also running for commission. She did drop some information off for us that we can share if anybody would agree, but she gave us a couple of reports from the county level. So. Yes, sir.
Dean Clark, address 141 South State Street. I've got 4 items, maybe 5, so if I run a little bit over, you want to cut me off, Mr. Mayor, please do so. First, congratulations to the city and or whoever arms you had to twist, beat on, whatever, to fix some railroad crossings. Number 1, I cross these tracks on a daily basis, if not more than that. State Street is now acceptable. Woodworth Main Line, which is the southernmost one, that I would classify as good. The next line to the north, passable, barely. Ely Street, forget it. That's the one directly east of Grafton. In proper terms, on a military reservation, that would be called a bombing range, or an artillery impact zone. Whatever you can come up with, I would certainly appreciate getting it fixed, because it's beyond being fixed. It needs totally redone. Second problem, I'm sure I'm not the only one in this community to have. We have a problem with feral cats who decide to use various personnel's property as a public latrine. The past 5 days, I cleaned up 5 piles of that. I'm not happy. There needs to be a feral cat ordinance. Now, I do know of several methods that I could solve that problem, but unfortunately, most of them are illegal according to the city charter. So I would really appreciate some sincere consideration of a feral cat ordinance. This means any cat that doesn't wear a collar is outside of their normal domicile precedence, because this is becoming untenable. We also have a neighbor, and we attended her memorial yesterday. Her daughter is here from New Mexico. She said, when I go in the yard, I better check my feet carefully before I come back into the house. The problem exists, gentlemen, ladies. We have an abandoned house on Moyer Street that has been vacant for many, many years. It's in sad need of being torn down. These people are neighbors of mine. They do not have the funds necessary to tear it down and get rid of the debris. It will cost them $40,000. Probably that price has gone up. I would sincerely ask the city to look into this, see if there's any kind of alleviation, whatever you can do to help these people out and get rid of that nuisance, because that's where the cats live, along with raccoons, skunks, and who else knows what else. Okay? Enough on that. Oh, while we're at it, in case we've got a bunch of cat lovers, please give me their names and addresses. The next time I have a pile in the yard, I would be more than happy to call them and they can come clean it up. Okay? Sounds like a fair deal to me. Number 3. Just mentioned our athletics. This has been a subject for myself. I'm a graduate of Alma High, circa 1955, so that makes me probably one of the oldest people in here. the Lord's been with me. I wear a pacemaker for a reason. We have state champions in basketball in 1947. There is no recognition on our signs of city limits. There are for some swimming, not against swimming. I had a couple grandsons that swam for Lincoln High School out of Ypsilanti. Second one was a cross-country team that I believe was totally undefeated in either 1953 or 1954. Am I correct, Mr. Constanzo?
You're real close.
I'm close, okay, close enough. All right, last but not least, I'm a retired master sergeant in the United States Army Reserve. I'm commander of the St. Louis American Legion Force. We are now in the process of having a joint operating agreement, which is going to be called Heroes Center. This will be a pilot program for the state of Michigan. Our VA rep, retired colonel in the United States Air Force, Nancy Bozer, she's our VA rep. She's excellent. She's got a lot of forethought to this. I want to thank the county commissioners, even though they are, not in attendance. They voted at their last meeting, which was 2 weeks ago Monday, a week ago last night, prior, to grant us $200,000 for the formation plan. This money will go a long ways towards that. It'll be a joint operating venture. I realize there are going to be some glitches, some problems, but I think with cooperation we can overcome those. I'd like to offer kudos to Jan Bunning for her support in this. And congratulations to Timothy Gay for his nomination from the Republican Party nomination. If anybody has any questions regarding what I just went over, I'll be happy to try and answer them to the best of my ability. Any questions?
Thank you very much.
Not hearing any, thank you for your time. Thank you.
Eric, I presume you got notes there for passing some of that information out to the code enforcement and.
I've had discussions with some.
Okay. All right. Anybody else have questions, or anybody want to speak?
Yes, well, real quickly, only because Tony called me out. I looked it up while we were talking, Tony, I haven't had direct experience with that situation, haven't heard anybody, what's that?
I said Zach Everett.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So she got.
Zach Everett, 128 Superior, thank you. So under MCL 333.27959, there's a broad-based discretion with respect to how the municipality sets up competing applications. It doesn't really lay out any specifics with respect to any particular things that the city has to look at. Essentially what it says is the municipality shall decide among competing applications by a competitive process intended to select applicants who are best suited to operate in compliance with this act within the municipality. So a lot of discretion there in how you would decide between competing applicants. If two entities score the same on that. But I guess so that's the answer to your question on that. And just thank you broadly for formally addressing this and do something on the next couple of meetings, and you won't have to see me again for a while. Thank you.
Alan Martin, Consumer Cannabis, 528 Warwick Drive here in Elma, Michigan. Just the same thing, thank you guys for acknowledging, and it's a step forward, it's a small step, I know there's no guarantees and there's a lot of work to do, but we want to be a resource for you guys if necessary. Please reach out with anything that you need, and we'd be happy to help as much as we can. So thank you.
Anyone else? No? Okay. If that, we'll entertain a motion to adjourn tonight. Support. Motion support, last chance. All those in favor say yes?
Yes.